at the hotel, the next room next to us. And one day I woke up, my mother wasn't there once again. And I went over there. I will call them my babysitters. Because a few times, I would go and they would watch me. They would say, oh, you could sit here with us and we would watch cartoons. And, so I would consider it my babysitters. That's why I always say my babysitters. The twins, my babysitters. You little, so what the hell? So one time I went back over there because my mother was at home when I woke up, So it started to get usual. I started to get used to it. Mommy not here. She at work. She on a date. Okay. So one day I went over there. And I opened the door and I went to sit on the bed. And I was hungry. I was hungry. But they didn't have their that time they because they used to give me food when I used to go before. Because they knew my mother wasn't there, so they would feed me. But this time they didn't have that plan to feed me. So I was gonna walk out the damn door. I was trying to leave. They wasn't gonna let me leave. That wasn't the plan. That is the day that I was sexually assaulted. And I want to say the R word, but I'm going to have to be careful because this is YouTube and Patreon. But like I said, I'm dropping another one that would be hardcore raw next on my Patreon. This is just part one. And I want to get people to kind of look at what they're going to expect if they're coming to my Patreon. You know what I'm saying? For $3.99 for a story, which I should charge way more. But I know people don't have it like that. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, I'll just drop it on YouTube too a little bit. But part 2 is going to be, it's going to be some words that you're going to be you're going to be blown away. So, but right now I'll keep it decent because it is YouTube too also. But that's the day I was sexually assaulted by both of them. They held me down, put me on my stomach. They turned me around, put me on my stomach, and did what they had to do. They took turns. And then they let me go out the door. That is the day I became their pawn. Not the rook, not the bishop, not the king, not the queen, but their pawn. I started hanging out with Thomas. He was a cute little chubby kid. His mother, she did dope. But she hit it well. He picked on me a lot, so I broke his nose a lot. What the hell? Every day we would always be playing in the hallway. And he always picking on me. And I always bust his nose. Blood everywhere. That boy had a crush on me, I think. Then came David. David's mother name was Sandra. She was a dope addict too. David was cute too. David liked to play house with me. See, Thomas was like my best friend, kind of. He never got fresh with me or anything, but he would tease me a lot. And then later on, I found out he probably had a crush on me. But I would break his nose because you keep teasing me, you keep bothering me. But we always would play outside and stuff, you know. David is the one I liked it. He was a rough little boy, handsome, but he liked to play house. I didn't know what house was back then. David's mother, Cassandra, was a junkie too. She was a dope addict. My mother used to rob them. My mother was a cat burglar. She would sneak through your window when you're not home and take your shit. And then you'd be like, Betty, do you know somebody that took my stuff? She'd be like, girl, what? Get out of here. When I find that mother effer, I'ma give him one. And it'd be my mother the whole time. Then they robbed your house. Because, see, at the hotel is on the first floor. So a lot of people do leave their windows open back then. All you got to do is go through the person's window. I mean, it was very simple. And my mother would go through their window and she would have me hold the door for her. Like, she did it to both their parents. Ugh, child, please. She was good at that. Take their food, everything. So, David, he his mother wasn't home one day. I think his mother worked. I think she did work a lot, yeah. I think Thomas' mother worked too. My mother was the only one that, well, my mother was tricking, so I guess she was working. But David said to me, you want to play house? I said, sure. So he said, all right, this is what you got to do. You got to pull down your pants. So I said, that's playing house? Okay, so pull down my pants. That's the first time I learned what mommy and daddy got to do. When you play house, you have to have intercourse. So he turned me around. He did what he had to do. And I never said anything about it to nobody. He just kept playing house with him. Then we got the boy down the hall, which I forgot his name, Skinny Kid. I couldn't stand his ass. Couldn't stand him. He had a pit. He had a dog. I don't know why they let his mother have a freaking big dog in that little ass hotel room that we had. But he was a thug. He was a little boy thug. He was the type that back then, you know, we're kids, but you would probably, I'm surprised I won't see him on the news for R or murder or something. That's the type of kid he was back then. Yeah. Yeah, bad. He was one of those. And I didn't like him, but he was R me all the time. See, the thing is, because of so many little boys was R me and sexually assaulting me, it was I was used to it. It was like, take turns, go ahead. Why not? No one else is giving a fuck. We had a hallway and we would play in the hallway. These boys would have my panties down and be taking turns on fucking me. Do you know how bad I wished that somebody would walk out and throw the garbage out in the hallway, or I don't know, go downstairs or come out their door, or something, just to catch what's going on. Mm. You know, Michael and Jay, they started getting cocky. I'm tired as hell too, y'all. Michael and Jay, they started getting real cocky. They we had a restaurant. Remember in the beginning, was I just dozing off? Shit, tired as a motherfucker. No. We had a we had a restaurant, and they would tell me, if you don't throw that brick at the restaurant, we're gonna hurt your mother. Or if you don't let us touch you or sexually do fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like they would do stuff like that. So I would always get in trouble. Like I would take the brick and throw it at the fancy restaurant. I could have hit somebody in the head at that damn restaurant. And here come the restaurant manager grabbing me to my mother. Your daughter got in trouble. She broke the restaurant mirror again, the restaurant thing again. Like, oh, it's like you're under these people. You're doing what these boys say when they're the ones hurting your soul. And I never told my mother anything. I never said anything to my mother until a few years ago before she died. I'm so sorry that I almost dozed off in front of you. I'm really tired today. By me not sleeping for the last couple of days before, it's now affecting me. Somebody said that to me too. They said, girl, matter of fact, my daughter, she was like, Ma, is it affecting you yet? It's gonna hit you because you're not sleeping. It's gonna hit you. And now it's hitting me. I've been working so hard on certain things and now it's hitting me. I'm sorry, guys. I caught myself dozing off and shit. um my mother had to have back surgery. Because I didn't have family, I had to go into foster care. You ready for this? You ready? Did you say you was ready? Oh, you wanted to get something to drink? Go ahead, hurry up. Now you ready? Okay. I had to go into this foster home. This lady had other foster kids there, right? I wasn't the only foster child. She had other foster kids there. Now, remind you, I was only there because my mother had to have back surgery, and um, because when you don't have family to go to, or you don't know your family, like they couldn't just send me to, okay, go to Aunt Rosie's house. She lived down the block. No, my family lived down south, Texas, Georgia, Memphis, Tennessee. They don't live, you know what I'm saying? So because of that, I had to go into a foster home. Well, this bitch didn't know how to cook. This bitch was cooking fucking chicken and telling me to eat it when there was blood coming out of it. Yeah, like that Queen Op shit and Danny and the rest of them bitches over there. Yeah, yeah. This bitch was making me eat bloody chicken. I would never forget that day. Never. I forget stuff because of that stuff thing that came out from us. But I would never forget that day. And because I didn't eat it and I spit it out, I got the beating of my life. We talking about whips, belts on my back, tied me up in the bathroom, beating on me. And I had a visit. It was Christmas. I had a visit. And I remember going to see my mother on the visit. And they have like these Santa Claus people in the street holding the bell. Ho, 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 little girl. What do you want for Christmas? Ho, ho, ho. And I said, I just want to see my mother. And we get to the agency. And I go in the back room. Oh, my mother didn't show up for that visit, by the way. We get to the agency and I go in the back room and I show the lady my webs and my bruises. And she's like, what? Wow. They took me away from that lady that fucking day. Wait, no, did they take me away from her? No, they didn't take me away from her that day. No, they didn't. I went back with her. And the next day, a caseworker came and they took me away from her. And I don't know what happened to that lady, though. But I wound up going back with my mother. And my mother saw the bruises and the webs on my back, and she wanted to kill that lady. She wanted to bury that bitch. Yeah. My mother was so mad at herself. But it wasn't my mother's fault because she had to have surgery. But yeah, when I went in the back room and I showed the lady, I picked up my shirt and I had bruises and webs on my back. And every foster home, baby, ain't great. And every agency ain't either, because they still brought me back to that lady house. They should have not took me back there. She could have killed me for telling on her. Anyway, I go back home. I'm like, yes, I'm back with my mother. I'm hugging her, loving her, kissing my mommy. Because no matter what my mother did, I was like, she's still my mother. She meets a guy named Jose. Puerto Rican. He don't know no English. No English, y'all. He didn't know no. When I tell you, he knew a few like little words, but he barely knew English. Okay, yeah. He was handsome. He was a neat freak, though. He did not know my mother was a drug addict. I don't even know where she met the man at. But should we go back a little bit from when I met my father? Yeah. You say yeah? Or you want to? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. We were staying at the Times Square Hotel. My father was dating a girl named Gloria. She was a dope head. And my dad used to come and pick me up. But just to bring me back to his room, and he would put like a cover over so I wouldn't see what they were doing, with some milk and cookies and a black and white TV. And I would look under the thing. And that's when I found out my daddy shot up dope in his foot and in his leg. Him and his girlfriend at the time. I didn't really know my dad like that. My dad was 6 feet, handsome. Um, he owned a dry clean business service. Him and my mother was never married. I don't know why they broke up. I don't know about all that, but yeah. But yeah. He would call me sometimes at the hotel that me and my mother was at. He had other kids. Yeah. He had moved to Buffalo with the woman that I met, the dope head. And I haven't seen him since, like, oh my God, years before he moved out of there. But we're going to get into that too. So, my mother met Guy Jose. He was the only one that wasn't molesting me out of my mother's other boyfriends. Because it was times that me and my mother would stay at these other men's house, and they would tell my mother, oh, I'm going to go tuck her in. Before we had got that hotel, we stayed at a few men's house, right? I forgot to tell y'all. And my mother was so high, so doped up, she didn't know that the guy she was messing with was fondling me in the bed, talking about, I'm going to go tuck your daughter in. Yeah, he was tucking me in, all right. You know, like she didn't know that because she was so high. So he was the only guy, Jose, that did not take advantage of me. But my mother got pregnant from him. And he didn't know my mother was pregnant. He didn't know my mother was a drug addict. So as we get back to the hotel, I'm still hanging out with the boys. Um, I'm still hanging out with them. You don't know how bad I wanted someone to come in the hallway. It's like if it was a train, like I can't even decide. When you don't want something to happen and you want somebody to catch it and then they never catch it. They never catch it. I was scared, lonely, tired. hungry, halt, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. My mother blamed me. She opened my legs one day and said, "You been messing with them nasty little boys out there, haven't you?" And beat the shit out of me. Because she looked inside my cootie cat. She looked inside my cootie cat and she can tell that somebody has been in me. And she blamed me. She said, "You've been messing with them little boys." And that's when I got a beating and I ran in the bathroom and I locked myself in there. And she, "Jazzy, get your ass out. Get your ass out here. Get your ass out here." And I never told her, you know, "No, mommy, I don't want to do it." Like, I never said anything. It went on for years. I never said anything until recently. When I tell you, I didn't tell nobody for so many years. Jesus. My mother got pregnant. CPS came and was like, "Can we please speak to you?" Then my mother came into the room and said, "These nice people are going to take you for a while. And then I'm going to go away. And then I'm going to come back and get you." And I was like, "No, mama, no. I don't want to go with them, mama. I don't want to go with them." And I said, let's go climb out the window. We can get the rope and climb out the window." And like, I wanted to escape with my mom. No matter if she was a drug addict or not, she was my mother. She's all I knew. You know? No, nobody else. They arrested my mother that day because my mother gave birth and my little sister was born with heroin in her system. She was a dope baby with a lot of dope in her. They found out she had dope in her. No, wait. She had dope in her, but she didn't withdraw badly like my little brother did later down the road. I'm gonna tell you that. That would be in part two. But they arrested my mother. Back then, if you gave birth and your baby had drugs in you, bitch, you going to jail. You going to fucking jail. Say bye bye, ho. Okay? Yeah, you going to jail. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Say bye to your kids. Bye to your cracks then. Mm-hmm. Bye to your bag of dope or your whatever you do. And you going to jail. But that day the lady took me back to the agency to try to find me a place. And she couldn't. She could not find me a place. So she took me home with her. Yeah. And I slept on her couch. Ain't that something? And then the next morning we went back and she found me a place in Brooklyn. Best Star. That's right. And I go there and the lady has a bunch of kids there. Big lady. Look like Medea. 6 foot. Big. Call her Big Mama. She was nice. She was nice. But she can get gangster. Yes, girl. Let me tell you. Her cooking was the bomb. Because she's from the South. She was from the South. So I started going to school there. I started getting picked on. Fat girl with 4 eyes and you're ugly. You know, just the whole fat girl, 4 eyes, ugly thing and whatever. Always got picked on in school. Went to an art class. Don't like art. To this day, I don't like art. My art teacher, Puerto Rican cat, right? Handsome Puerto Rican cat. Tries to get the class. Okay, so this art teacher's Puerto Rican. He's young. He had to be in his early 20s, right? I would say like between 20 and 25. No later than 25. So I go in class and he's like, would you like to stay after? I need you to stay after class today. And I'm like, I can't because I have to go home. But I have to go home to Big Mama because she's cooking dinner. I didn't like this teacher. I'm going to be real with you. It was something about him. Let me tell you something. You know that kids get a vibe. They know if you good. They know if you bad. And I didn't know. I just didn't rock. Anytime we was in art class, I didn't rock with I didn't rock with the class itself because I don't like art. But he just made me get this. He just didn't make me feel like I could trust him. So I stayed away from him in art class. And when he asked me that, I was like, I don't know. No thanks. I gotta go home to Big Mama cook. She cooks some fried chicken and something, baked macaroni or something, because she always cooks some good food. And we had a house full of people too, foster sisters and brothers. So a little Puerto Rican girl stood after school with him. Now my school, I lived in the projects, and my school is here. So you walking home is right there. It's not far. It's like right, boom, right, 1, 2, 3. The time I get upstairs, my foster mother and my foster brothers and sisters is in my bedroom on the news, looking on the news on TV. All of them. And I'm like, what's going on? And they said, look, it's my art teacher coming out in handcuffs, child. He sexually assaulted the little girl. He asked me to stay, and I said no. So the other little girl stayed. The little Puerto Rican one I said, he sexually assaulted her. Yeah. Ain't that something? Yeah. A damn art teacher. See, I had a feeling like God told me, like, tell him you got something to do. Yeah. Certain things you don't forget. You know? Wow. So we go to school the next day. Everybody's talking about it, gossiping. And I don't really got friends then. Nobody's talking to me. I'm just listening. But this one girl kept bothering me. She kept teasing me and teasing me and teasing me. And I always kept going home crying. And Big Mama said, if you come in this door one more time crying, I'm going to give you something to cry for. And I know what that meant. I didn't want her to put her hands on me. She Big Mama. She looking like Tyler Perry when he put on that wig and makeup. Child, please, what you said, I do not want that. That girl went to bother me that day. And after school at 3 o'clock, we went in the back and I tore that bitch up. I threw my hands and I broke her nose and everything. The school called, they asked Big Mama to come in. She said, well, it was about time. She kept messing with her. So she did what she had to do. And ever since then, I have respect in the school. Sometimes you got to earn respect. I have respect in the school. People in the play with me outside. I was a double dutch competition. I'm very, very good at double dutch. We would play double dutch. I was always good at it. I have competitions. I have friends then. Go to Yogi Bear. I loved it. That was the first foster home that I wasn't beaten. I wasn't sexually assaulted. I felt somewhat comfortable, but I was still missing my mother. And just to let you know, that baby girl my mother had, she was with the Puerto Ricans in Harlem. After a while, Big Mama said she had to get me back to the agency, and I was there for like a year. And I cried, and I said, why? And she said, because I'm moving. I'm moving down south. And I said, I want to go with you. And she said, baby, I'm not adopted. You're not adopted. See, I didn't want to be adopted because I said maybe one day my mother will come looking for me. So I would never be adopted wherever I went. I wouldn't be adopted. So I had to leave that house, and then the lady from the agency had to find me another place to go. That was hard. That was so hard. But they called the foster parents, the foster mother that my little sister was in, and I went there. They were Puerto Rican. And I thought that I would like it there. But it was hard living there. They didn't like me. I don't know why in the beginning. I didn't really understand. I think because I was black. I don't know. They had a brother who was a drug dealer. He was cool as hell. That's my foster brother, Louis. They had a sister, my bad, Maria. And they had a son, Bebe, Horacios, but they call him Bebe. Bebe and Louis, drug dealers. Maria wanted to be the pretty girl around the house or whatever, or the Puerto Rican disco dance or whatever. And yeah, they just was like, nah, we can't. Mm-mm. We're not feeling her. And that made me really sad. Days that I would be crying or I didn't feel wanted. They wouldn't let me eat sometimes until my foster mother came home to feed me. Just doing spiteful shit. If I'm walking or something, they would put their leg out and trip me, beating on me. I'm about to say something, and I never told nobody this. And the family doesn't know this. And I don't know if my friend that I used to be, well, she's not my friend now, but if Liz is gonna, I don't know if she watches this. I haven't seen this so many years. We was friends back then. She was dating him back then. This is the truth, right? This is my story, right, guys? I'm sorry, Liz, if you are watching this. I don't know if you watch my videos. I haven't seen you in 40, 30 something years. Okay. When I was younger, my foster brother, Bebe Horacio, raped me. He sexually assaulted me every fucking day. Every day. Every day. Every single day. He would wait till his mother went to work. Nobody was home. He would put the pillow over my face so he wouldn't have to see me. I guess I was black and ugly for him. I don't know. It happened for a long time. I never, oh. Oh. How do you make sense of your foster brother insulting you every day as a child? And as you grow up many years ago, you guys become so close. Later on, we became like the best brothers and sisters. Was I in denial about that? I've never, ever, ever said. I mean, I've talked about my assault chart, my R and the assault with the babysitter Michael and Jay and shit, but I've never told anybody about him doing this. Oh, okay, guys, I think this is gonna be it for right now. Stay tuned for part 2. This was too heavy right now. I gotta go. I'm so sorry. Guys, this is my life, my story, my truth. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. I try not to curse a lot. I try to keep it a little clean because I really was just going to stay this on Patreon. But I said, let me share some on YouTube so you can know what you're going to get on Patreon. But next time on part 2, I'm not holding back. There's curses, there's dick suck. Oops. Well, there's a lot. Um, you will be knowing about my drug history and my recovery, my tricking, and my everything else. So you better stay tuned. Go ahead and go over there to Patreon, y'all. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to know the uncut, more real shit. I'm telling you, you will be missing out. Plus, you want to get movie night and everything else, and want to get the girls' day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being my biggest supporter. I love you.